welcome to the Being Beautifully Honest podcast and channel. Thanks for being here, for being subbed. If you're not, hit the button. And if you're listening on YouTube, hit the like. It's like walking in the room and hitting that light switch. Let's brighten up the place and get into this conversation. I actually was inspired to do this commentary, so I'm going to try to make it as quick as possible because honestly, this subject, it really is sad. I don't get joy out of talking about this, and I talk about it more so out of anger. So that's why there are times when I just kind of feel like I need to pull back a little bit. I didn't even do any commentary yesterday because after talking about this story that was in the U.S. Sun about Martell, Holt being ordered for a psych evaluation, I just had so many thoughts going through my mind because I can remember early in my more regularly talking about this person and the people on the show Love and Marriage Huntsville that I actually have been watching from the first season that it aired. And for those of you who are newer to my platform, just to tell you a little bit about how I even got to watching Love and Marriage Huntsville in the very beginning. I shared it a couple of times briefly, but it was 2018. I remember when my husband, who is a veteran, but he got a job, and it was in Huntsville, Alabama. I had never heard of Huntsville, Alabama before. Being like 100% serious, I had never heard of Huntsville, Alabama, but he got a job working at Huntsville. He was more so going to be working overseas, but the company was based in Huntsville, Alabama. So he had to be down there, and it's about 8 hours away from where we live. So he would be, when he was not overseas, when he would be down there working, because he got an apartment down there, he would drive home on the weekends. Like he would be done with work on Friday and he's like, all right, I'm hitting the road and I'll be home by whatever time, it was going to be. And I'm saying to myself, well, shoot, if it's going to take that long, just stay down there. I'll see you, when I see you. And I'm just basically saying that's a long time to be on the road. I don't want to be in the car going one way myself for more than an hour and a half. I used to say 3 hours. Now I've cut it down in half. But I'm saying that to say, the few times that I went down there, it was like, oh, okay. And I can remember when we went down there the first time and we got off on a side road and the internet wasn't working on the phone right. So the GPS got cut off and we're like, oh my God, we need to get out of this area before nightfall hits because we don't want people coming out here in the white sheets and the crosses burning. Because listen, you hear so many different things about Alabama. I don't know, but we just know we didn't want to be in any backwoods areas in Alabama when the sun went down. Anyway, I digress. It was around the same time that he got that job down there that the show was coming on TV. I remember flipping the channel at the time. We had DirecTV and I'm seeing this show coming on. I'm like, oh my God, what's this? So just out of interest, because I had just learned about Huntsville, Alabama, and then there's this show called Love and Marriage Huntsville. I'm like, is this the same Huntsville where my husband's job is located? But anyway, we didn't spend that much time down there because the majority of the time he was in the Middle East. So I digressed. That's how I got interested in watching the show, because it was these three couples, African American, in a city that I had just learned about that my husband was going to be. So I just thought it was interesting for that. Pretty superficial, but I just wanted to share that. But at any rate, watching this show and seeing the disgustingness of this man that is the father of Melody's 4 children and now her ex-husband, I started seeing psychotic tendencies in him, and I even called that out in some of my previous commentary where I discussed his behaviors. And I said that to me, it really, I'm not just using the word to say he seems psychotic. I said this man definitely, in my personal opinion, expresses some psychotic tendencies, and I believe he is dangerous. I said this on a multitude of occasions. So when this story came out about him being ordered for a psych eval, I was like, praise the Lord. But to hear that he was accused of abusing kids now, this is nothing that a number of us hadn't heard before, but definitely didn't surprise me, but it hurt me. It hurt me. So the reason why I just wanted to talk about this for a few minutes and have a conversation about it is because seeing the picture of Melody, she looked beautiful, but I saw something deeper when you look at her eyes. I saw someone who is tired. I saw someone that's trying to stay strong in the public eye, but really was just like on the verge of breaking down, because this is a lot for anybody to go through and experience. And just having 4 children alone really is a lot. Even if you're sharing custody, it is a lot. Even though she's quote unquote sharing custody, we know it's really not her sharing custody. She's really just unfortunately having to take the children that she shares with this person to him. He's not well equipped to take care of them mentally, financially, and honestly doesn't even really want to. It's just out of spite that he doesn't give her full custody, because when he was making mention of on the show, when he was talking with his mom about, well, she's got this and that going on, like just give me full custody. He was only talking about those things in hopes of getting a check for child support, because he's not really doing much and he just wants a check. And he blew that away, because if they bring this man back to the show, I don't really see where this could be headed if they allowed him to come back to be on the show full time. He doesn't deserve it. He really needs to be in somebody's padded cell, like really getting treatment. But someone left a comment, and I'm not going to read their name because I don't know if they want me to share that, but I appreciate them because I actually agree with them. They said, blow the pickup of Mel and look at her eyes. She was launching a new product in this video, but look at her eyes. That is not bitterness you see in her eyes. It is extreme sadness. She feels responsible for putting her kids in a position of having a terrible father. Dear God, please remove this man from her life and her children's lives. Put it in his heart to walk away and live a quiet life with his new family, and leave Mel and these kids alone. Let these kids grow up, and if they desire a relationship with him, they can find him. And I was like, listen, you are in my head, because I definitely did that before you mentioned this. So we are on the same page. She is definitely blessed by going through the fire, and it doesn't feel good. Because when I tell you, when I saw this article from the U.S. Sun and they chose that picture of her, that's what I honed in on, were her eyes and the look in her eyes, and how mentally strained she is from going through all of this, but still having to look pretty, be a boss in the public eye, and not really sit and break down and cry in public. And I get it. I don't know what the next steps are in this situation, but my hopes and prayers are that if the judge does not make things work for Melody and her children so that she can feel more at peace, as much of being at peace as possible with still having to deal with this narcissist, but doesn't do things that are going to make her feel at peace and feel like her children are safe and comfortable, she needs to ask her attorney to see if they can request a different judge to be over this situation, because the fact that she has to keep coming into court back and forth to try to get to a place where she feels comfortable being, it's hard. And he's only doing these things because he is hateful of her, and my personal opinion, the children. I believe every single word about him doing those things to those children. And I believe it's more. I just believe those are a few examples that they shared, but I believe it's more. I definitely believe it's more. I'll never forget that scene. This was before the divorce was final, I believe. It may have already been final, but I believe it wasn't final yet. And Melody was at the office and she was having a meeting with some of the other people from the cast, what they call the core six. And Hotel shows up. It was his time to have the children. He had the children in the car. And I believe it was the oldest daughter at the time that just like started crying. And Melody came out to comfort and console the daughter. My personal opinion is he either said something that was so hurtful to that girl that caused her to cry that way, or he did something that he did not admit. And I said that back then, and I still believe that to this day. I believe that he's taking out his anger that he has about the decisions and the choices that he has made and life not going his way, taking it out on his children, and definitely trying to take it out on his ex-wife. And that's the part that's just really sad. So imagine going through this every day. We who are exposed to her on social media, some more than others, because even though I do follow her on social media, I'm not one of those people that actually gets on social media and scrolls through to see what other people are doing. So the only way I really know about things is if other people share it and talk about it, because that's just not what I do. But you're only exposed to what you're exposed to, and most people, not knocking it, because I get it, nobody really gets on social media to share their trauma and, the things that are terrible. Some people do, and we do see more of that nowadays than we used to. But I'm saying, but for the most part, most people, they don't want to get on social media to share the negative things that are going on in their life. They're going to show the highlight reel. They're going to show the things that are going good, the things that are positive, because they know that, one, makes other people feel good, and two, by proxy, it makes them feel good. When you are going through depression, a lot of times it gets worse because of what you're focusing on. And I know for, a fact that, because I've gone through it before and still dealing with it. It's one of those things. But when you are going through depression, you really have to make a conscious decision to try to focus on good things. It's not easy, especially when you're going through like the life situation like Melody is going through. That's her life. Yeah, good things are going on for her. She's got opportunities. She's making money. Her businesses are doing well. All of that is well and good. But this creature that she was married to for all of those years, which was just pretty much one of those who the bleep did I marry one of those types of situations, and have 4 children with, this is somebody that she has to deal with at least until her children turn 18 years old. And so just thinking about that, going to sleep at night, waking up early in the morning, I'm quite sure these are the thoughts that come to her. And it doesn't feel good. And she's got a lot of people rooting for her, cheering for her, supporting her and all of that other stuff. But this is the person that she is having to deal with because she shares 4 children with them. And now it's looking like every year she's in court. Nobody wants to deal with being in court at all. Even the people who like to say, oh, I love going to court, I love suing people, whatever. It's not fun to have other people in your business and having them rule and make decisions for your life, especially when it comes out to be rulings and decisions that you don't necessarily agree with, but you have to abide by because it's the law. It's just not fair. It's just crazy when, I sit and think about it, and that ain't even my life. So I can't even imagine what she's going through. So I even had to take a break and not even really create any content yesterday to share because just this story is just so heavy, and we only know what we know based on what has been reported and what has been shared. We have to know that what has been reported and what has been shared only scratches the surface. I am quite sure it goes much deeper. I don't believe that Melody is trying to be spiteful because she wants to try to control the narrative and call all of the decisions for the children, so she's playing things up to make it seem like he's doing more than what he has. I believe that it's actually worse, because I do believe that she covered for him for a lot of years. I mean, she had covered for him for a long time, and she just got to the point where enough is enough. And so she just started to trickle things out there and sharing things. You should have kept your penis in the household, asking other people, what do you all think about respectful cheating and things like that. She didn't just come out and blurt out and say, look, this nigga been doing me dirty all these years. I'm the one that was pretty much handling everything when it comes to the business. I'm the one with the builder's license. He has been just using me. I'm tired. I'm fed up. I'm not just the pretty face and he's the brains behind the operation like he tries to make it seem. He's been cheating on me all these years. I've been trying to make it work. He continues to disrespect me. He continues to make me feel unsafe by having unprotected sex with other women and wants me to do stuff with him too because I'm his wife. Like, she could have done all of that, but over the years she would, being on the show at least, she just started to trickle until she just got to the point where she just yelled at him to sign the papers. She was done. Done. Well done. So yeah, guys, I just wanted to share my thoughts about that because this story just really touched me, and I definitely see in her eyes that this has been a long road and she's just ready for some peace. It's like, I got the prosperity, but can I just have some peace when it comes to my children and not having to worry about how they're doing when she has to take the children to him and leave the children with him for the period of time that he's supposed to have them. So yeah, let me know your thoughts about this, guys, in the comment section. Thanks for being here, liking and subscribing. I'm Beth, just being beautifully honest. So until next time, I wanted to keep it brief, beautiful, and now I'm going to say bye.